It's official. Arizona is becoming a hotspot for corporate headquarters. Why are they relocating to the desert, and is it a good thing for our state? Plus, the Cochise County Sheriff is taking on a new role, consulting for the President's Homeland Security Advisory Council. See what this appointment could mean for Arizona's borders, and a look at the wildfires in northern Arizona. It's all that and more this evening on Broomhead. Welcome. I'm Mike Broomhead. Before we jump into today's interviews, let's take a look at some stories. The Dragon Bravo fire and the White Sage fire up north, all the eyes of Arizona are on it. Uniquely challenging to be burning right there at the Grand Canyon. A lot of damage. The North Rim has been closed. The South Rim is open for business. We are actually going to talk to an expert about this. We're going to talk to the PIO from the Incident Command. Car crashes and speeding tickets. How about this? A new study came out of last year and crashes in Arizona. Good news, bad news. The bad news is we're still setting records for crashes in the state of Arizona. The good news about this is that fatalities are down year over year. Now, the contributing factors are, of course, speed and alcohol, not wearing seat belts or other restraining devices, helmets if you're riding a motorcycle. But the good news is lower fatalities. What's leading to this? A lot of it is your speed. Speeding tickets and speed cameras coming back to Tempe. Phoenix looks like they're going to be doing the same thing because Arizona is known for some of the biggest crashes in our urban areas. Next, it's the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and the Federal Monitor. The citizens of Maricopa County since 2014 have spent over $350 million on a federal monitor of the Sheriff's Office with no end in sight. People showed up at a meeting on Wednesday to ask questions about when this was going to end, because with all that money spent and all this time and 4 sheriffs, nothing has ended yet, and we don't know when or how it's going to end. These are questions that the taxpayers in Maricopa County need answers to. Coming up, corporate headquarters are moving to the valley in droves. President and CEO of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce explains how this growth is transforming our economy. That's next. It's important to recognize and thank the fine Arizona men and women who are serving in our country's military. One of the ways we like to do that is through a segment called From Arizona for America, brought to you by my good friends at Sanderson Ford. So join me in honoring Marine Corps Staff Sergeant Jacob S. Carrig, a native of Mesa, Arizona. He's a flight engineer with Marine Aerial Refueler Transport Squadron 153, Marine Aircraft Group 24, 1st Marine Aircraft Wing Station in Boise, Idaho. For a list of more of our friends and neighbors that are from Arizona for America, just go to the Broomhead tab at cw7az.com. Welcome back. Joining us to talk about the big moves in the economy, Danny Seiden from the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks again, man. It's good to see you.
No, it's good to see you too, Mike. Thanks for having me back. Lots of great news.
Corporate headquarters and relocation industry coming to Arizona. We know that people land here. They retire here. But people are bringing their businesses here. Why, and what does this do for Arizona?
Sure. No, you're right. Traditionally, the corporate headquarters have always been on the coast. Now, Arizona's had some. We have Avnet, we have Freeport, McMoran, Carvana, and others, about 9. But you're seeing us, in the last 4 years, I think we have won 76 relocations from coastal headquarters. And the answer is policy. The policies in Oregon made it so Dutch Brothers could no longer afford to do business at a good rate there. So they relocated to Arizona. The same is true for some companies from California. We have more announcements on the way. So again, it boils down to policy. Arizona has made itself a destination state for a great business climate, a great place to live, get an education, retire. We already had all of that. Now we also have a great place to do business. We make it very easy for people to open businesses here and grow.
I've maintained as the amateur, you're the professional, but I've maintained that when you now do that, you stimulate the economy and the job market where employers are now fighting for employees, and it organically raises wages. Is that the case?
That's 100% the case. It's worth saying one of the reasons why the Arizona Commerce Authority, which has made corporate headquarter relocation a special focus over the past few years, why they target them is those jobs on average that I mentioned. We said, 76 relocations? That's 30,000 jobs. The average wage of a corporate headquarter job is $96,000. So these are great paying jobs. These are the jobs we want, being very competitive. And you get decision makers. You get the C-suites moving into our state. They spend more money in the community. They're big into voluntary service. They start to identify with the state in which they're headquartered in, which is huge for us.
also, in the world I came from, construction. It keeps that world alive and well, where you are seeing not just commercial work, but industrial work is being done. The highly skilled, even the union labor is saying, these highly skilled people are finding work and their wages are going up because they're so in demand.
No, that's correct. It's good to see the chamber and trade unions working together,
right.
And we do on these projects, like at TSMC, like in LG. We work very closely with them because they want what we want: more jobs, more high-paying jobs, more construction. And again, it cannot go without saying this influx we're seeing, it does relate back to TSMC. You cannot have a $165 billion investment in arguably the most important industry with the most important company being here in Arizona and not draw more companies and headquarters in.
We were just out there. We just went out and did a couple of segments, and we talked to the head of construction out there, and we watched how they're taking the pipe fitters that are really already highly skilled labor and adapting their skill set to the specialized needs of TSMC. And that project's going to be going on for a very long time.
Decades. No, that's absolutely right. I mean, we are on Fab 2 of multiple planned fabs.
With 6, right?
Yeah, 6 planned. We have, not to count the packaging facilities, 2 of them, and an R&D facility that they're going to build now too. So when I say they've changed the DNA of our economy, that's what I mean. They're going to be here for decades to come, putting money in. It's pulled in NVIDIA, it's pulled in Apple. All the important companies of the world want to be around TSMC because they're making their product. So it's very important.
So the downside. Do we have the infrastructure? We know APS is asking for a rate increase to pay for past construction, but we know new stuff's coming in. Water is a huge issue. Do we have the resources necessary? Can we sustain this?
I think let's split those two up for a second. First of all, Arizona has always been known for its infrastructure planning. It's one of the reasons
Which is why they came here.
It's why they came here. It's one of the reasons why. So in terms of real infrastructure, we're doing very good. Prop 479 passing was a huge win for us. They'll have the roads. They'll have a lot of what they need. When it comes to energy infrastructure, our utilities need to be able to more or less double their output in the next 5 years. So to do that, we need more investment. And some of that is going to come from rate increases. But you got to give APS a lot of credit. They've been down at the legislature pushing things like securitization, ways to put capital back into investment without raising rates. So again, we're very supportive of what APS and SRP are trying to do. SRP's got very big elections coming up that matter for their board. You have to watch those closely. Stay pro-growth and allow them to meet the needs. On water, yes, we are the best plan for state in the country when it comes to water. We know this. I mean, we can guarantee your water up to 100 years for residential, which no other state in the country has. Not California, not Texas, not anyone. Now, I think these Colorado River negotiations that are ongoing right now, that treaty is back up again. I think we've proven better and more efficient than the upper basin states like Colorado. So I'm hopeful that this administration will reward us with a bigger allotment there, and we'll continue to be able to justify our growth.
I love these conversations. I keep looking. I can't believe how fast it goes by. But thank you. I hope you'll come back. These conversations are terrific.
Anytime, Mike, anytime. Love talking about the economy. Good news.
We'll be back. Coming up, the Cochise County Sheriff was recently appointed to President Trump's Homeland Security Advisory Council. Find out how he's looking to make a difference for Arizona's borders. Next. Welcome back. We are a border state, obviously, and it's always been a big concern. Sheriff of Cochise County, Mark Daniels, joins us. He was appointed to the President's Homeland Security Advisory Council. Sheriff, it's good to talk to you again.
Always good to be on your show, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about this advisory council. I've maintained this for years, that anybody from Washington, D.C. should be talking to the people in charge of border security in border counties. It's nice to see you on this council. I think you're one of the experts in the country. What do you add to this advisory council?
Well, again, Mike, I think the biggest thing of being on this council is I'm the voice of the community. If you look at my colleagues, very esteemed colleagues on this board, from investors to attorneys to former politicians, high-profile people. But when you look at who sits on the board, and like the White House told me, you're our cop from the community on the board. And truly, that's what I am. I'm the voice in the ears for the community on behalf of sheriffs, police chiefs, and the citizens we all serve. So it's exciting to be on this board again.
We've heard about the massive reduction in illegal crossings, over 90% in the Tucson sector and the Yuma sector of the border. But that doesn't mean the problems down there are solved. What are you still facing at the border, and what does the White House need to hear from you about those challenges?
Well, I always say this, the border will never be perfect. It's never going to be 100% secure. It's in one of the best shapes I've ever seen in my 4 decades of law enforcement. They got some management on the border. But the cartels are a criminal organization. They're no different than any business we address. They're savvy. They got the will to get their product across, whether it's trafficking humans, whether it's illicit drugs. guns, weapons, you name it. They're going to continue to do what they do. They're just better at doing it when it comes to whether it's aircraft, whether it's going through tunnels, whether it's concealment. Either way, they're doing the products they're doing. Drugs are huge. Methamphetamine in the state of Arizona, Mike, is off the charts right now. Fentanyl still at 49-50% throughout the country, comes through Arizona, our southern border there. Again, the problem still exists. They're just in a more manageable state, which allows us to spend more investigative time and tools to address it.
With the shift in border crossers, though, CBP has been able to focus more on the ports of entry of capturing some of these drugs that are being hidden in vehicles coming across. But that doesn't mean that you still aren't dealing with the criminals that do still get through. Are you still making a lot of drug busts in your county?
We are. Sadly, we are. And my guys told me we seized in the first 3 months, from January to March, just under 500 pounds of illicit drugs in Cochise County. Now, that goes back and tells you the problem that still exists. But we're tackling in a more efficient and effective way because we have more time to do it. We're not dealing with everything else when the border was wide open. So, again, we're continuing to do it. Human trafficking of children is something we're really concentrating on, Mike. We've had a couple good busts with that. The distributors, these humans that are just evil in my mind, that are taking children, exploiting them, and then sending them across the country for evil ways. So, again, we're all over that. All works out of our Regional Border Operations Center in Cochise County, state, local, and federal, working together, sharing our authorities for a common cause, and that is to protect people.
The military zone down on the border that's going to happen, that buffer zone with the military, how does that affect you? Do you think it's going to be a positive change, and will it affect your agency?
Mike, actually, I think it's very savvy. What they're talking about is the Roosevelt easement, which runs from parts of California over to New Mexico and within. We have it running right through Cochise County. It's always been a BLM protected area. We all worked within it for public safety. Well, President Trump and his administration actually made that a Department of Defense military area. So now they're posting up signs on this area. If you go into a military reservation, just like if you go into Fort Juca, Davis-Monthan, any of those places, that's a criminal offense. So that's why he established that. It's very savvy. It's very bright, I think. It's brilliant. The issue for us, I just had a meeting a week and a half ago, was how does this affect us? So this military reservation runs through the southern part of my county. How do the local law enforcement, sheriff's office specifically, how do we address it when we find a dead body, a migrant that died out there, or we have a crime out there? We have a lot of ranches in that area, and we're working on agreements right now with the military to ensure that we as first responders, because the military is not going to be the first responders, but we will be. So we're working on agreements to make sure that there's no interruption in public safety for that area.
Well, Sheriff, we appreciate the update. Like I've told you before privately, I think you're the excellent choice for this to be on this advisory board. I think you bring a lot to it, and we're sure happy that you're on there. And thanks for talking to us today.
Mike, it's always great to be on your show. It's an honor. Thank you.
Sheriff Daniels from Cochise County. We'll be back. Coming up, over 8,000 acres, including the Grand Canyon Lodge, were burned by the Dragon Bravo Wildfire at the Grand Canyon. The Southwest Area Complex Incident Management Team gives us their insight on how the fire's been managed when Broomhead returns. Here's a look at some upcoming events and important information that should be on your radar. First up, it's the Downtown Phoenix Farmers Market happening Saturday, July 26th from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on 5th Street and McKinley. Support local vendors through their slowest season of the year. You can find more information on downtownphoenixfarmersmarket.org. Then, in light of the devastating fires at the Grand Canyon North Rim, Nate Loper, a Grand Canyon tour guide, has organized a fundraiser to support the victims of the Dragon Bravo fire. There's a website GoFundMe page dedicated to fire relief campaign. If you'd like to help, visit northrimfire.com. All eyes on the Grand Canyon, the Dragon Bravo fire. Joining us is Stephen Liskai. He's the Public Information Officer from Southwest Incident Management Team. Stephen, thanks for taking the time.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Can you kind of tell us what's happened since Monday when you all took over? Can you give us an update on what's happened up there at the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, I think when we took over, it was around, they were reporting about 5,000 acres on Monday. We're up to more than double that now. We've been fortunate the last couple of days with this weather pattern coming in. We finally got the monsoons. They've been talking about the monsoons forever. We got significant rain, but unfortunately only where people are camped that are fighting the fire, not on the fire itself. It seems like that's always the way it goes. But with this weather pattern, it's not, even though it's not enough rain to have a whole lot of effect on the fire, as in putting it out, certainly, it is buying our fire crews more time. So they're doing things, they're bolstering fire lines where they hope to contain this fire along Highway 87, along the Camp Royale Road. So they're going in there, but before they can start the hard work on those lines, we've got hundreds of snags. Those are called hazard trees. These are fire-weakened trees by both the original Dragon fire back in 2022 and our fire now. So we have to have special crews going in before the boots on the ground can get in there and do some heavy work with cutting down these hazard trees. They call them a widowmaker. They kill a lot of firefighters every year, unfortunately. So they've been doing that. They're wrapping there's a historic old smoke tower that's close to the fire area, so they're wrapping that in Mylar today. It looks like it's the same thing that our fire shelters are made out of. So they're doing that. They're bolstering fire lines, and they're protecting that Roaring Springs area. I guess that's the water supply for most of the Grand Canyon. So that was one of our #1 priorities, aside from public and firefighter safety, was protecting that water source, because if that thing went up, the pump house went down, everything shuts down. Right now, it's just the North Rim that's shut down. South Rim is still open for business.
You mentioned some of the hazards, Stephen, but what about the unique challenges being on the rim of the Grand Canyon? That's got to pose some unique challenges, too.
Yeah, this is a little bigger than the ditches we usually face here. Fortunately, our incident management team that's now handling the fire and a lot of the firefighters are out of the Southwest region. So we're accustomed to fighting fires in mountainous areas, hot areas, deserts, that sort of thing. Obviously, the Grand Canyon has some unique challenges because of the steepness of it. So we're really, when we were trying to save the water pump, the roaring springs that supplies the water system for the whole canyon, we couldn't really get a lot of firefighters hiking down in there. So we have a lot of helicopters working this fire too. So we were able to insert some heli-tac firefighters. They're firefighters that work with the helicopter to get down in there, and then they have visuals with the pilot. When the pilot can see the boots on the ground, it makes those bucket drops so much more effective. So they were doing that, and because we don't want fall injuries, we don't want dehydration injuries, and so far our safety record's 100%. I don't want to jinx it, but right now we've had no injuries to this fire.
So then that leads me to the question about numbers. Do you have numbers on how many firefighters and what equipment is fighting this fire?
Yeah, we've got approximately 600 firefighters right now. That changes day to day, but pretty much 600 we've been moving up to that number. And I'm sorry, the other question was
equipment. When you talk about helicopters,
what equipment? Yeah, we've got at least 6 helicopters here. That changes by 1 or 2 on some days, depending on if they need to go support another fire or something. But six of those, and 3 of them were the big heavies. So those are capable of dropping 1,200 gallons in one shot. I mean, it's enough to crush a car. It's enough to move rocks. That's another hazard to firefighters, too. You got the snag trees, you got the terrain, you got the water drops. Because those things, if all that force comes down on you, it can ruin your day, for sure.
When it comes to the weather, as you mentioned, you're expecting today, though, a weather change back to the dry conditions. What's going to happen if that happens or when that happens?
Oh, boy. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. I was remiss on not mentioning that. We're going to return, unfortunately, to a very similar pattern on what pushed this fire so fast, so quickly, those 2 nights before we got here. It's going to be hot. It's going to be low humidity. It's going to be windy. But this time the wind is coming out of a different direction, which is going to greatly challenge us, because all this other time it's been blowing it east. Now it's going to be coming out of the southwest, going to the northeast. So that's going to present some challenges for us.
Stephen, I appreciate the time, and I hope you'll pass along to the firefighters our thank you for their hard work on this, because it's critical that they're doing this. Thank you for informing my audience, and I tell everyone to be safe.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We'll be back. Every Sunday here on Broomhead, we ask a new poll question. This week's poll question is, do you think it's beneficial to have corporate headquarters move to Arizona? All you have to do is head over to cw7az.com/Broomhead to respond to that poll question. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next Sunday on Broomhead.